Well, Mohamed Jamjoom joins us live now from Ashdod in southern Israel near the border with Gaza. Mohamed, so Hamas rockets hit the southern city of Ashkelon yesterday, and there are still reports of sporadic fighting in the south where you are. What more can you tell us?
That's right, Darren. Let me first walk you through the reports of the fighting that we've gotten over the course of the last few hours. One in an area called kibbutzim, another in an area close to Gaza called kibbutzim. We are told by the Israeli army that in those two incidents there had been exchange of gunfire in both those areas between Hamas fighters and Israeli army members, and that as a result, at least 4 Hamas fighters killed in those clashes. Also, there are reports from the Israeli army of clashes that took place in the industrial zone of Ashkelon. And the Israeli army reports that as a result of gunfire exchanges between Hamas fighters and Israeli army members in that industrial zone of Ashkelon, that 3 Hamas fighters were killed. So that just goes to show how even in the overnight hours, there were continued reports of a very fluid and volatile situation. You mentioned, of course, Ashkelon. Yes, Ashkelon was hit by a rocket fired from Gaza earlier in the day. And even after that incident, which happened yesterday, further on in the evening, we were in an area known as Zikim Junction, just outside of the area known as Zikim, which is about 3 kilometers north of Gaza in southern Israel. We witnessed rocket fire emanating from the Gaza Strip. Most of those rockets, we believe, were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system. But the rocket volleys continued late into the evening. In the past few hours, even though it's been more quiet here in Ashdod, where we are, than it was earlier in the evening, we still would hear occasionally outgoing shelling happening from Israel going towards Gaza. So a very fluid situation, very volatile, and continues to be. Darren?
And Mohamed, the Israelis are saying they've mobilized around 360,000 reservists. What sort of buildup are you seeing on the ground there in terms of a potential ground invasion of Gaza?
Darren, every place we've been in these areas in the south of Israel, you very much see a troop buildup, a mobilization, a mass mobilization going on. Every place you stop, you see an increased security presence, be they soldiers, army members, policemen and women, reservists. They are all over the place. Beyond that, when you are on those roads and highways driving to the south, further to the south, approaching the border with Gaza, you see military equipment being moved. You see heavy machinery being moved. You see troops being moved, not just in cars. You also have witnessed something that we've seen over the course of the past couple of days, a very interesting sight. On some of those roadways, you see what looks like kilometers worth of cars that are just stopped on the side of the road. Essentially what that is, reservists who have driven themselves to the south that are joining up with their units that have essentially just left their cars on the side of the road as they join their fighting groups. So that's one of the reasons why so many of the residents that we've spoken with in these areas the past few days do believe that a ground invasion of Gaza, as they tell us, they believe that it could happen at any time. Some of them think that it will happen imminently. And it's one of the reasons there is so much concern, because people just don't know exactly what the days ahead have in store for them, and they are quite worried. Darren?
All right, Mohamed Jamjoom live for us there in Ashdod in the south of Israel. Thank you, Mohamed.